Did you experience a toxic job exit? I'm talking this week about the spiritual side effects of long-term unemployment and what can hinder your ability to find peace and move forward in your situation. In this quick video, I'll be talking about how to move forward, resources that are available, and why engaging with your grief is critical to the healing process. Some people feel stuck in job transition. Often I hear this from those that are really suffering from the end of a toxic job situation. This could be that you were fired suddenly for reasons you didn't anticipate. It could be that you were dealing with a toxic boss or work situation, or it just happened and you didn't anticipate it coming and you're internalizing this loss very personally. Is this you? Today I'm going to be addressing the mindset and emotions that people often feel when they have unresolved toxicity associated with how their job might have concluded. Then I'm going to share with you what to do about it. You're in transition. How do you feel? It's so important to ask how you feel because many people confuse what they did for a living with the value of who they are as a person. As psychologists remind us, we are human beings, not human doings. Yet I'm told that people often feel that when their job ends, like something is happening to them, that their own identity is being sacrificed, and that in some ways they feel like job transition feels like you're attending your own funeral. People tell me that what it's like is going to a funeral, watching your own identity be lowered into the ground, and you begin grieving. And your friends and family, instead of supporting you, giving you cards and delivering lasagna, those same people look at you and tell you, hey, you can move forward, move on, you're well connected, put on your interview pants, get out there and make something happen. Are you experiencing this? Is this frustrating you? If it feels or sounds familiar, what are the implications of this type of grief on your job search? Well, there are many implications, such as an unexplainable anxious concern that someone might ask you casually, so what do you do? At a social setting or a network session, you just might feel uncertain on how to answer. Now that your former identity is gone, you might feel adrift, and you may feel that who you are has been confused with what you do. I spoke to a man this week who worked extensively in a high-profile position whose job was terminated suddenly. After decades in the position, he feels tremendous shame and guilt and even anger about what he experienced. Do you have a similar situation? How are you moving forward? As I've worked with many people, I have found if you do not find a productive way to grieve, emotions can bottle up and be like what we call junk in the trunk. So how do these emotions surface? Well, it can start with an unanticipated unease when an interviewer asks a question that touches on an unresolved pain point with the former employer. It can also be an undercurrent of sarcasm that might surface seemingly, quote, out of nowhere when topics associated with the employer happen to come up with other people. It can be a nagging sense of unresolved guilt that maybe you could have done more to impact the outcome but weren't able to do so. It can also be a vague sense of shame when you talk about the situation or your former employer with others. And it could be a surge of unanticipated emotion if situational triggers in the interview hit a nerve that you never consciously acknowledged as being problematic. But it can suddenly feel very problematic in the way you address it in the interview because there's no sense of closure. How do you get resolution? There are important steps you can take. First, get support. At Economy of One, we offer a national call for prayer for people who are working through the pain of unemployment. The spiritual side effects are real and they must be dealt with. Otherwise, these issues can surface at the most inopportune times, such as in the middle of an interview. How do you get resolution? Well, you need to seek forgiveness or reconciliation from any unresolved conflict. You need to find people who you can be real with and talk about how you feel in a safe and confidential place. As you move through this time, practice actively helping and hearing other people. This gets the focus off you and enables you to sow grace into the lives of others. This returns back to you in the form of favor that people show you. And finally, I recommend that you get sincere about auditing whatever needs to change in yourself and creating a simple definition of the next step forward. Even baby steps make all the difference when you feel frozen in fear, anxiety, uncertainty, or doubt. Finally, you need to know you don't need to go it alone. There are options and resources to help you right now. At Economy of One, we have small groups that are forming. These people of 3, 5, or 7 people get together. They don't know one another, but they go deep in quality relationship with one another. They hear one another. They learn each other's stories. They learn how to help one another, and they merge social networks for the intention of being financial first responders with one another. Also, we offer a weekly Thursday 6:30 call Central Time to 8 o'clock where we offer community support and prayer. If you could use someone to hear your story in a safe and confidential place, and do you want to join a community of people who are committed to one another? Join us. You do not have to be a believer to join this call. If you are agnostic or an atheist, we completely respect your views, but we invite you to come join us as we pray for one another. And we can pray for you, and you don't have to be a believer to join in this process because we respect where you're coming from. We also offer a private Facebook group where people post the 80% of jobs not necessarily known about in the community. This helps people connect with opportunity that might be happening right around you that you don't know about. Also, I recommend, if you've never read the book Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Meyer, it's a #1 New York Times bestseller, and it's an excellent resource if you're struggling with fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Finally, if you need professional medical help or are in crisis, please do get help. You are not alone, and it's not all in your head. Spiritual side effects of unemployment are real, and the grief is too. I'm Elizabeth Allen for the Economy of One channel. Please subscribe if you're finding that this content is helpful to you. Thank you.